Hey there, everybody. Welcome in. Some faces you are probably not expecting to see when that transition went through, but it is me, Kresnik, here, the coach for the team, casting with Palsy, one of the tanks for our Pearl roster, who we're not going to see today unless you tune in to the B stream. But here, tonight on the A stream, we are watching Sapphire playing against the University of Alabama Huntsville Blue roster in this best-of-3 activation series, and we're starting things off on Busan.
Indeed we are. Busan is a map that both SNHU teams, I feel like, have favored pretty heavily recently. Yeah. It's a fun map.
I honestly think it's just a holdover from the very silly runaround strategy that we had in Overwatch 1, when there was only one roster, when everyone was coalesced in the same place.
Those
and
are the days.
We played that Ball, Sigma, when I was playing too at this point, yeah. Ball, Sigma, Soldier, Tracer, Ana Lucio, when we were playing that and just running away from people, I think everyone got a special place in their heart for this map. Also, we had, 2 Game 5 comebacks on Busan in actual matches?
Yeah, no. Busan has a very storied history with the SNHU Esports Overwatch program.
It does.
Of course, I was going to say most recent control map, but as of...
not anymore.
As of a few hours ago, we're going to have a nice new control map, but we are going in here.
Yeah, Antarctic Peninsula waiting for us a couple weeks into the season, but for now, we are heading into game number 1. UAH Blue, should I say what... So apparently, I was alerted that apparently 2 of their starters quit 2 hours ago. So do I expect this to be... I mean, they could... This could be the honeymoon phase for them, right? When you shift in new players into the roster and suddenly everything clicks because no one's playing on autopilot anymore. Or it could be a main roster with 2 subs, but looking at what they're playing right now, kind of an interesting pick for Sanctuary. I feel like Widow can make sense, but Genji, his gap closer is not as wide as you'd want it to be for a map as open as this one.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I don't see the point of the Genji other than Nanoblade. Just because, Sigma,
no speed
Widow,
either.
You're right. With the Sigma and Widow without speed, you're going to want to play really pokey here, but Genji just doesn't want to just sit there. He wants to go in and get picks and get damage and disrupt and cause havoc.
Yeah, I will say, you can tell, we're going to be much faster than them here. SNHU is going to... Look at how slow they are by comparison. We're already in drum. Only now is the Sig rounding that corner as we cut to Pepto's POV on the Sojourn. So they're looking for some early poke right now, but you can see Console Noob coming around mid, coming through tablet. There's actually no one peeling for the backline, and in goes the Monkey Suzu, used immediately, but Console Noob completely isolating the rest of their team. They can take this 5 versus 2 hands out, pocketed in time, and actually the Widow finding the kill, but it is a 1-for-1 trade. One Trick finding the boop onto that Genji, but point control will go in favor of SNHU. They have this centralized position that is just going to be what works for them here. They'll get this flip, and now they might be able to turn around into the backline, but only the Sigma isolated hero Siren diving in, finding that Widowmaker as they play through tablet. Ana completely left alone on an island with 2 players on him, and Biso able to keep them alive with One Trick following up on this Kiriko. It's only Sigma still standing, playing to delay here, and they played so isolated early in that fight.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how... I was going to say, SNHU did a great job there of playing slow and taking the fight as needed, but they still got first cap. It's not playing slow if the other team is playing slower, really.
Alert. Brigitte has been picked. Brigitte has been picked. Brigitte is in the game right now.
That is a bold decision, combined with the Orisa swap. I think this is the... I don't know if they didn't get the memo about Shield Bash, but I think they might try to stun the Winston and be in for a nice little surprise when I think fun.
They're just looking to isolate Console Noob here 100%, but right now you can see Brig getting caught in the corner, and now the aggression comes in from SNHU running over the rest of their team. Inaccuracy buff, not letting Pepto finish up those last kills, but able to get what he wants. I have to say, I haven't casted Overwatch in a while. Hardest thing for me right now, I don't want to say Console Noob, but I don't want to say One Trick. I think they have some of the worst names. I don't think I've ever called them that genuinely outside of right now. I want to call them by their first name, but I just can't.
This is that Kresnik puts players on blast.
I am. Listen, I can. I'm their coach.
We got a fight coming up.
We do. We have, and yeah, when I get up and fight them to make them change their names. But for now, there's a team fight about to happen in game with Sojourn actually using Slide, getting to the team. They're deathballing. They give the cap up, but with how little side space they control on point right now, it doesn't matter. Console Noob able to go in with this Primal, going to cause a lot of havoc, but no one is pincering them. They're just going to disengage safely, look to burn this Winston with no one else able to help him, but they get the cap flip right away, and SNHU has superior positioning. This rally could be what helps UAH break the door are back down. Terra Surge likely coming in on the side. It does get Pepto, but it's caught by the beat from One Trick, keeping him up as Constant Loop finds that Brigitte now trading damage here on the point. You can see One Trick isolating that Ana in the back. They keep leaving him alone. There's no one to peel. It should be the Brig, but it's just not. Only Genji and Orisa left. He finds one, but the overtime will tick down.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with the Brig pick there, but I mean, I don't want to be mean, but Bro's been picked like first fight pretty consistently.
Well, I think he's trying to play Brig the way that you are supposed to play Brig now, right? Brig used to be the peel monster, play on top of your back line, go for those stuns. But Brig's kind of just a brawl healer now. Like this brawl you play, or like think about Jotes, right? They played Brig Lucio in this kind of wacky AoE constant healing comp. And they're maybe going for that, but Ana Brig just isn't it.
Yeah, they finally swapped over to the Lucio now with his Zarya comp. Might look a little better for them. A more traditional Rush style comp. Although the Zarya is not something that we always see, at least particularly often in this meta.
It is theorized to be good into Orisa.
Yes.
I don't think it's the best. I think it is a viable pick into Orisa, but I would not call it a hard counter, especially with both of the bubbles gone. They're going to go right now. I can smell it in the air. They're going to walk right in. There are no resources to keep their team alive. One Trick trying to go for Boobs, going a little bit too far, but setting up perfectly for Pepto on the Sojourn to run over the rest of the team. No resources, 2 players alive. Constantly tries to get one last-second Javelin, but SNHU is going to get that cap right away. You have to be conservative with your resources on Zarya against a team with speed like this.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it immediately. The bubbles went down, and Pepto just started hunting for blood.
I could hear the players through my headset yelling about it.
And this Zarya is high charge, but she's committing so many resources so early, and she's already isolated.
And I love this. Go for the jab spin, but a little bit too early and no one able to go wrap around. I think had to play a little bit slower. But now you can tell the Zarya isolated on one end, so they're just going to go for everybody else. They find the pick on the Ana. They equalize it right away. Plus, Zarya's still low in the back. It's a 3 versus 3 as this fight breaks down and gets a little bit scrappy. This could be good for Huntsville. They are playing close together moving in, but Pepto has an overclock already. Not even 30% racked up on the board, but they have to just leave. What their advantage that they had is taken away, ripped out of their hands by Sean Pepto-Derma.
I mean, that's a consistent factor. I'm glad that no matter how long I have a break from this desk, some things just never change.
Yeah, right here, jab spin used early, so they know they have a free grab, but Suzu will keep Constant Noob alive in that as Pulse Bomb caught the Ana. Great split here. You can see them pincering with Tracer on the right and everyone else on the left, and now they're coming in to isolate the Orisa. This time, it's perfectly placed. The bubble coming out as they do keep their Orisa alive through all of that damage. They want to just keep going for these isolations, and they're just going to keep getting them, even with losing Osiren there. Genji so low, but they'll disengage. They'll have a couple ultimates on SNHU. And no one to really put this Nano on right now. If they feed Zarya, there's a good target, but without Blade, they could maybe go for Reaper too, burn Orisa. Not a lot of options, but they're going to beat right out instead.
That's a big move from One Trick. Gets rid of the beat immediately.
And the counter beat is actually perfect right now in the Kitsune rush. Everyone burning down as Pepto just hits every single left click on players. You got to stop jumping against Pepto. Dry Blade coming in right now. Will get one, but caught out there. Low healing right now. Only One Trick's aura to keep them alive, but there's no way anyone's going to make it to the point. And SNHU, they know what they like. They like Busan. They'll take map number 1.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that was a dominant little performance there from Sapphire. That was kind of like watching a crash test.
I mean,
you just see a wall of people just walk.
Okay, that's what you were getting at. I wasn't sure exactly how you were trying to angle that there, but
well, no, because the instant anybody gets seen, they just get run over, and then it doesn't matter if someone gets isolated. They'll just go after someone else.
Yeah, I think Huntsville were trying to play a Death Ball-y comp, but they were playing in ways where they weren't really pivoting together. The Lucio swap, even though they did worse on map number 2 percentage-wise, I think the Lucio swap helped in what they wanted to do, but I just don't think they were ready to necessarily execute that.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. It's a really tough situation there when you're, you know, as you mentioned, already having a tough time with the roster, and, you know, I've been in those situations where you just get, all right, you're going in. You know, no, don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, think about last year. Quarterfinals, we had 3 people not able to make the first game of playoffs. So me, you, and Osiren, who were not in the main roster at that point, all had to sub in for a game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really tough scenario, even with the best of the best. You're not ever ready for that, necessarily speaking. So that's already tough to adapt. And SNHU played that comp so effectively. Like I said, that Busan is an old favorite. It's been that way for a long time since Lijiang wore out its welcome.
Actually,
but
they didn't even need to ban Lijiang. They weren't even worried about Lijiang. Lijiang actually was banned by Alabama.
Really?
Going in, yeah, they did not want to play Lijiang. I mean, they were playing. What was the tank? They're playing Sigma map. They're playing Sigma game number 1, right? So
yes.
Poke comp, maybe not necessarily want to be running on Lijiang. You can kind of do it on Market, but I feel like Lijiang is kind of home of Orisa, Monkey. You can see a lot there, but I just don't feel like Sigma most of the time, other than Control Center. You can get away with Sigma on Control Center.
Yeah. Control Center's a weird map, though. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
That's the shameful older brother that just gets left out of the family reunions.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, not going to be there. But we'll see what map got picked for map number 2 here. The hybrid in this set, it is going to be Blizzard World. So that, I think, could even be better. I understand why Huntsville would want to go there because of the poke they wanted to do, right? They wanted to play that Widow, that Sigma. That was what they said, going out blind without knowing anything that SNHU wanted to do. They said, that's what we're going to roll out with. Makes sense that they'd want to go to a map that I feel like favors that. But Blizzard World, to me, almost feels like one of those maps where you can make anything work. You can play Turbo Dive, you can play Poke, you can play Rush.
Yes. I mean, we've seen, through the competitive scene, just literally just about everything run on this map, as you said. I think you're going to really be looking to the Widow for UAH just to get a lot of value, take up a lot of space, and put a big threat aura over the map and just kind of stop SNHU in their tracks. Because if you can't, we might see a repeat.
Yeah, definitely possible to see that poke. But we'll be heading into game right now to see how they want to approach this map on both sides. 5 seconds left. I'm trying to remember if the health bars mean anything, but we can keep watching this. That's fine. Or not. That's okay. That jittery crystal is one of the strangest things I've seen here. SNHU is starting on defense first, so
yeah.
Interesting comp. It's going to be Orisa locking down space in front, just trying to buy time for Osiren and Pepto to just turn that kill box into, make the kill box live up to its name, right?
Yeah. UAH, like showing the Mei in spawn. I don't know. I mean, if that's what they want to go for,
they might be doing that glitch where you warped the origin of the map instead, right?
Yeah. I mean, that would be kind of silly, goofy. But we got the slice of pizza coming out from Puggy Boy, getting his team fed and ready to go.
Yeah, feeding his team and hopefully not feeding for his team. We'll see what happens once they break the first threshold here, which is where Sojourn, where Pepto wants to play, but going on the bottom side, about what you'd expect. This is the standard approach when you think they might be playing something pokey here. I like Mei. I am a Mei enjoyer, and I think she actually has a place in this meta. On this map, it's a little harder. It depends on how they're going to be playing, and if you're staying on high grounds like this, it's going to be a lot harder here. But look at how they're playing. They're wrapping around the right side. They're trying to take the Snacks Ramus area, but that's just one tiny choke that they have to go through now. I don't know how they're going to be able to break through.
They're going to full rotate around. Never mind. They're Console Noob in the back, just getting a lot of pressure in with that spear spin. They have to full rotate to flip map. Or they can just go through top. Never mind, I eat my words.
They're using a lot of resources, though. I think if SNHU were to make a move now, it would be really effective. No Nemesis, no Suzu. Only Suzu and Nade now coming back up, but they forced a lot with just a Helix earlier. But there's really nothing happening. SNHU, this should be something that they thrive on, but now they're going to try to make it walk. But only Ramatra goes in. Everyone else stays up top, including their close-range brawly characters that are Mei. And Console Noob has so many resources still. Javspin coming back up. He's going to try to make space in, but doesn't push past that shield and forces them to stay off point. Genji diving the back does get one of their main healers. Biso forced to pocket Console Noob now, and it's a 3 versus 3 with some ults getting close to coming up, but no way to live through that Nemesis form. And this slow fight ends up potentially working out in their favor, but that Mei is very low. They're just not shooting her. Trying to kite away and stay alive. How long can Biso live? Suzuing himself out of the slow, forcing the reload. They could go for a refight here, but spawns are so much closer for UAH.
Yeah, but I'd kind of be surprised if they didn't at least try for it. You can see One Trick taking a little bit of space to get a little bit cart contest while Console Noob comes back
Surge
with
as well.
the Terra Surge. That might be huge. Genji's a little low as well, too.
He's in a great position right now. Annihilate used, and they sleep him. They're not going to wake him. That is a wasted ult. They Suzu it. Can he make it to them in time to even make a difference here? He's forced to watch. Jab spin might actually do it. And Biso could go for touch here. He's going for a last-second contest to give time for Continue to come back in. Walled off Visor here. They have to break the middle, but nanoing in the Orisa.
That nade's huge.
Doing so much. Jab is spinning them back, but the rest of the team actually disengaged. Not able to get that much from it. Can they find kills here now? And only now do they start coming in. Everyone isolated. No one getting heals. Ramatra falling, and SNHU somehow retaking that. The coordination there was so good. They knew exactly when to go in for that retouch. Biso buying just enough time. One Trick buying just enough time. If those two supports don't delay, they're defending second right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was such a masterful fight from SNHU, just taking advantage of how those respawns ended up working out. Now UAH swapping over to the Widow after kind of, I'm gonna be honest, whiffing the Blizzard at the end of that fight. Gonna look to get some value off of that. The Mei was getting a lot of work done, but I think the Widow might just be better to look for an early pick. They only need to get one tick here.
Huge delay here by Console Noob, now pushing them back with the jab spin in there, and Osiris now getting dove, Blade potentially coming out. He does get that first kill and going for one trick, but the nade will keep him up, and now it's a 1-for-1. Console Noob being kept alive in this. They're going to push with their rush. Anti on this Ramatra. Will they turn and burn? No. Console Noob in the back instead, going for a huge search here, potentially on a solo. Ramatra also, he could clean up all of them here. But the rest of the team is coming in. The shield is there. He might have to disengage, and he will, to regroup with his team and play their numbers, because those spawns are coming back in, and they will turn this fight if they're not ready. Annihilation up again. Pepto messing up the jump so he can't get away, but Biso, they actually kited for the Kiriko instead. That's the one person you're not going to be able to guarantee a pick on here, as Ramatra finds no value with that Annihilation.
Yeah, I mean, that's another ult gone to the wayside when SNHU didn't even have to commit anything, and Pepto just gets the funny button. I mean, I can't say anything. I can't say anything.
You can talk about target prioritization.
I mean, I can, but then they'll just
talk about the Widow swap, how it really didn't find much because it just forced SNHU to kind of just hid it properly from it.
Yeah, no, when I say I can't say anything, I mean because someone in the lobby will just decide to be like, you know what? I think I'm going to make Matt sound like an idiot on cast. And
no, that's the best part of casting, right? When people prove you wrong.
Absolutely.
When you're being proved wrong.
I've just got a nice sense of comedic timing. It always happens right when I say it. But yeah, that, like you said, that Widow just didn't get value. It was a tough spot, but
I think there was a little bit of unspoken value that I think I could bring up. When we cut to Element's POV, they were locking Osiren down in a place where he could not strafe out of the way. He was forced to stand in a very specific spot, and then Puggy Boy came in with the Blade. That was probably the most value we saw out of the Widow.
Yeah, but even then, the Blade got a kill, but it was a 1-for-1 trade. And SNHU was just winning out those fights with heavy trades. Which is honestly kind of odd, given that UAH had better spawns. That should, in theory, favor UAH, but it just wasn't in practice.
Yeah, and they were running double flex support too, so no speed even really to get back. I was about to say, I'm not sure why they're running Bap Zen here, but I think Taylor is just being silly. Bap Kiriko, maybe instead. We'll see if he just speeds out or if he goes, but nope, they're going to be running out with Baptiste. I like Baptiste as a flex pick over Kiriko if you value sustain.
Yeah.
Right, you can kind of use it to keep up with double flex support if you're outputting enough healing, and we know that Biso will be able to. Pepto already at 25% ult. Doing a lot of damage early and finding a kill immediately. Can they isolate one by one? Great Javelin as well by Constant Noob to force them off point. Ramatra, the only one able to contest here, but now they're going to walk back in. Only walled one off. So much damage not being healed. Suzu forced out. This could just be the end of this map for them if this Genji can't buy any time. And he won't be able to. No one's out. Constant Noob just made so much room, just walked at the rest of them. And they get the cap. All that mattered was the point there.
Dude's looking like a New Hampshire snowplow truck, just going right through the entire team, taking no damage with that Fortify. You know, the overhealth got nerfed recently, but the damage reduction did not, and it managed to be all that Console Noob needed to just create a part the Red Sea and stop anybody from touching that initial pick from Pepto too. Absolutely tragic for UAH. You know that's not what they were looking for.
No, I mean he just took what's happening here, and if any of you have watched DPay's Overwatch Fundamentals video, you might understand this concept. They are not holding any side space. They are only holding space together. When they disengage, they do it together. And that, I remember right when I started coaching the team, I would see teams do that, and I would say like, oh, that is like a team that is starting to play together, starting to learn Overwatch, and that is like the Band-Aid that you put on to force cohesion when you don't have it yet. Right? Because the best way to play Overwatch, obviously, to be cohesive across the map. You are syncing up, you are taking what is open for you in the map and utilizing it to maintain control and make their hold uncomfortable. They are holding a space. They are saying, oh no, we are being pressured. Now we disengage. And they're walking out together. But Pepto is just on and off angle. Osiren is on and off angle. And they just can't deal with it without expending resources that open up their front.
And that was happening on map too. On that long, drawn-out defense for SNHU, you saw Pepto taking an angle above the point where Console Noob and Biso would push from main, and Osiren would be in the back line.
Yep.
And if they looked anywhere, there was another person just looking at their back.
I have a feeling about what map is coming up next, and production has not told me yet, but it's going to come up now. He can bring it up now, but I'm not going to look. I heard someone say they don't know what they're getting in for. I think it's Esperanza. Am I right?
I'm sorry.
I am right. So I'll talk about it when it happens. Also, just for a note, yes, this is technically a best of 3, but because it's preseason, they want all 3 maps to get data for where to place people.
Yes.
Right? That's why we're doing all 3 maps, even though technically SNHU has already won the set. We will be playing it out for NECC, so they can have a little bit more data to work with.
If you all remember, I believe it was, inaugural season of Overwatch?
Yes. The 4 maps every single time.
Yep.
And somehow Shanghai couldn't... they still won some maps, right? Shanghai did win maps. They didn't win a series, but they did win some maps.
Yep.
Somehow, even with like that, where there was a point in all those games where they just stopped mattering. Mayhem and Shanghai were not making playoffs, and yet there they were. There they were fighting for their goddamn lives in the trenches, and Mayhem just would not let Shanghai win.
Yeah, I mean, with a clean 2-0 like that, you gotta think UAH is starting to feel like a couple of Shanghai Dragons themselves.
Okay, don't say that.
No, they're
doing fine. They're doing fine. Yeah, no, they just had some tragic roster things there.
Because here's the thing too. I don't mean that in a bad way. Because Shanghai's roster, stage 3 season 1 was
okay. Yes. So you're saying late season Shanghai Dragons, not nepotism early season Shanghai Dragons. Okay, I was like, Matt, it is nowhere near that.
No, I'm not that mean.
No, yeah, I know. That's why I was so surprised. So, roll out on Esperanza. This is something that I brought to the team because I watch LH Cloudy stream. He does this because he plays Reinhardt on every single map, and this is the only way that you can make Reinhardt work. So they're going to go to their bridge with speed, and they're going to make them real sad because they're not going to have the space that they have. They are a little bit slow, but they're breaking through so much damage done early by the slow. Look at those health bars, and immediately Puggy Boy on the Genji picked off. Robot control doesn't even mean anything right now because it's still not available to contest, and now they can wrap around them at any point.
Is that Osiren on the Junkrat?
That is Osiren on the Junkrat. And it's working for now. I got them that first pick here. His ball gets picked off here. Great chase from them with Console Noob and Osiren delaying point. 2 meters on the board for UAH Blue, but loss of positioning early on means SNHU will flip the lead right away and begin to push their advantage.
Yeah, literally no one expects that. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects you to duel on the other team's bridge. It just doesn't happen.
All this means is people should watch LH Cloudy stream.
Yes. But it works every time.
It does. It is really effective. I mean, I don't know if the team doesn't do it every time, but I know that it is a great way to open up this map. But it doesn't guarantee success throughout, right? It is just a interesting way to open, and then you have to play your numbers right here throughout. You can see Orisa. They know it's Orisa. They're going to go Zarya to try to deal with it, especially with Junkrat on the other team. That's going to give a lot of energy that they can't really contest. But Vespid burnt away when they try to peek. They're going to spend the res on him here, but the Zarya is taking so much damage when this bubble's down. They have to spend Suzu. They could just burn Zarya here, but there's a lot of healing, a lot of headshots now coming in from Console Noob, though, in response. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but no tank for UAH Blue, and Terra Surge already available. You can see that he wants it. That's 3. They probably don't don't have Suzu. So much damage. Javelin connects, and Console Noob just disrupts them so hard they cannot recover.
Yeah, so much damage coming out from all directions. Mercy was 1 health that entire fight.
Yep.
It's so difficult because with how SNHU is playing, there's nowhere that's really safe.
Yeah, they can't, and they don't have any speed to rotate quickly either on UAH, right? They have Mercy on window overclock. Such a brutal combo when Sojourn is in Pepto's hands. Can he find this last kill? Not for now, as Genji spends deflect, manages to get away, but they are low, and they're being kept low by some poke damage and the fact that I don't think they have LOS. Right now, Ana actually went for flank, so that's a huge stagger. This should get the card to at least 115, 120.
Yeah, I mean, that fight was the Pepto show. The Pepto show. Console Noob getting the long range javelin into the early kill in the Sojourn, and now everybody's low. Diana was coming back late, which means Elman and Puggy Boy were low for like a solid amount of time. The blade comes in, gets nothing.
They beat it anyway. Even if he had landed and not gotten hit by the conch mine and the rail, it still would have done what they wanted to. Great javelin knocking that Zarya right into the main line of sight as Osiren just has a tire in front of the front door. Valk can't touch, and that might be one of the fastest games of push I've ever seen.
All right, I'm gonna bring this one to the chat. That's
okay.
That was. I'm gonna need a timer on that one. That was.
No, I was 6:45 at the end, so that was 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
That's fast.
We can see this.
Ooh, out of the sleep.
The
The fadeaway shot and just running down this Zarya, no fear.
Well, yeah, I mean, knowing that there's a Baptiste waiting for you when you come back around the corner, that's value there, and that's that set already over. UAH Blue taken down 3-0 by SNHU Sapphire, and looking, I think, a lot better this week than in the previous. I think a little more cohesive. I think their pushes, even though sometimes they're getting a little bit split, a little bit damage on them, it's all for the overall strategy.
Yeah, this team is in a really interesting spot. A lot of very familiar players, a couple of them in not so familiar roles, at least to the general public. We got Osiren swapping DPS. Console Noob was part of the team
in 2019.
I believe it was 2020.
Was it just 2020?
I don't remember.
I was doing other things at that point, so I'm not sure. But you that was when you just joined the infrastructure, so you would know better than me.
Yes, I believe it was 2020. But regardless, you know, it's so good to see, especially with a new tank player coming in, that cohesion starting so fast.
Oh yeah,
we're not even into the regular season yet, and already getting 3-0 sweeps like that, including a full completion on Esperanza.
Yeah, which is a map that I know we hated last semester. I mean, no one on the team wanted to play Esperanza last semester, but you know, there's only 3 push maps. You can get away with banning one, but if you can be flexible on all 3, you can target what another team is successful on, right? You can practice all 3 push maps, whereas you can't really practice like every single escort to the fullest extent, right? You're going to be weak on at least one. Makes sense to try to have your strengths be spread throughout there.
Yeah, and you know, I have always been a steadfast push enjoyer. I think
Same here.
It gives such a new dynamic to Overwatch, which just hasn't been seen in Overwatch 1. And I mean, you can see that with how SNHU pushed that that first point. I mean, that's just a little silly.
Yeah, you can mix things up. See, here's the thing. I was a competitive Team Fortress 2 player, and I love 5CP because that's what you play in competitive Team Fortress 2. It is shades of 5CP because the mid-fight is so important because it lets you establish your advantage first. That was the same exact thing in 5CP. The concepts still apply of, you know, this push and pull. They can back half the robot from you, so you have to be kind of aware of that and the paths that they're taking, controlling flanks while you're going in. I mean, it's stuff that's also basic in Overwatch, but it is something that is just being presented in a completely new package, as opposed to 2CP, which is like, hey, it's like the start of Hybrid twice, but bad. Like that's all 2CP was.
I mean, you know, I also was a certified Hanamura enjoyer.
You were forced to be a certified Hanamura enjoyer.
Look, the circumstances, let's not get into them. That's a tale for another day. Fireside chat, maybe. But
Well, a fireside chat we will not be having now. There is a bit of time until our next game at 9 o'clock against Clark University's Red roster. If you don't want to sit here during a break for 30 minutes, which you will if you stay tuned in here, go to SNHU Esports B. Our Pearl roster is playing in their match at the same exact time, so tune in there. The link is actually just below our stream. If you go to the About section, it will be B stream on the right side of our bio. Click there to watch that, tune in there, and we will see you guys on the other side of this break. Welcome back, everybody. For those who were tuning in, SNHU Sapphire just took down UAH Blue 3-0, and we are heading into game number 2 shortly, which is going to be SNHU Sapphire versus Clark Red. So, Clark Red, I believe a team that we have played, and I think with a couple subs in the middle of the season, I think we actually lost to Clark Red last season. So, we'll see if they've made any changes and how the changes for SNHU make them shake up better against them.
Yeah, it's always fun to see close matches, matches with history to them too, and this is shaping up to be to tick both of those boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. I love having the storylines we can follow because, I mean, my casting time previously, it was done in a league where I knew every single player and the games were the same teams week after week. So the storylines kind of wrote themselves. Whereas, now that I've been doing collegiate for a while, that really isn't there so much. There's teams with rivalries like, okay, SNHU and NYIT, right? There was a rivalry there for a while. Now it's not because people graduated.
Oh.
Okay. It changes throughout, and it's nice to have something to kind of grab onto and reference as the games go on. Map ban has in. Clark Red has banned Busan. Not surprising.
I mean, yeah, we're going to see a different control map no matter what.
Yes. Do you have any thoughts, any theories?
I mean, I know what map was picked.
No, I think we were. Yeah, so we are going to Nepal. I thought that was production trolling us. I wasn't sure if that was actually what it was going to be. But Nepal will be the map that we start this set on. SNHU's pick. Pretty different from Busan in what you have to play. It does feel a little more stifling in what you have to play, and in the map design itself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The cool thing about Nepal is each of the maps plays so differently from each other. Sanctum is so different from Village. Village is so different from Shrine. So it ends up being a very dynamic map in terms of what gets played.
Yeah, and you know what the best part is? The only good map is Shrine.
I think that's not necessarily true, but I understand where you're coming from.
Design-wise, design-wise, I feel like the only map you can argue for being good is Shrine.
You think so?
I think so. I feel like you're just funneled into one choke.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I guess you can go over the rooftops if you are a character that can do that, but not many can.
Get a jetpack.
Get a jetpack. The heavy with a jetpack, can't beat that. All right,
yeah, give Reinhardt vertical mobility.
I have been saying, I have stayed saying that. I think let him use charge to go straight up.
Look,
imagine pushing Numbani with vertical Ryan, just take high, wait till your charge is back, charge down the right side high that everyone plays on.
Only if you have the war trumpet. Da, 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 da.
That's when they add soundboards to the game.
Oh god, that'd be.
Yeah, you play that, and then you get slept, and the Ana plays the extremely loud, incorrect buzzer on you when you try to go in. Well, either way, we're not going to see that here. What we will see is some good Overwatch as we head into game number 1. Nepal Clark Red versus SNHU Sapphire. And I recognize some of these players. I definitely recognize Icy Cold, Mr. Jellybean. I played against them. I believe, actually, I was on the team when we played this map. So
I believe so. It's been a hot minute, though. It's been a hot minute. My memory fades quick, so I'm excited to see how these players turn things out. Run out on the ROM immediately, it looks like.
Yeah, I love Ramatra's matchup into Orisa. I think it's really interesting. It's almost as dynamic as I think the Sigma Orisa matchup. Because, Sigma can eat Orisa's Javelin, but Orisa can really push Sig out of position. I think it kind of goes the same way, but Ramatra's neutral game into Orisa is a lot better. Any tank who can put down a shield and poke is good into Orisa. So it's, just Sigma and Ramatra. But they still have good matchups.
Yeah. Osiren, again, coming out on the Junkrat after the initial teleport.
So fast.
Very, very fast here.
Yeah, but they need. What will they do with the space that they've taken? You can see Clark Red waiting. This is a much different game already. You can see the Junkrat taking an off angle, controlling this side space, using a trap to keep himself zoned off. But already, they're leaving. Yeah. They're starting to back up. Only now are they re-entering through this threshold and using this junk spam to hit this Orisa. But cooldown's coming back up and point control in Snoo's favor. There could be a chance to move here with Javelin spin used. Constanoob getting pressured, but Ramatra taking so much damage. Suzu forced out. Javelin just narrowly missed here, but no one's going to be able to go contest the point. Now SNHU just wants this fight to go as long as possible.
Yeah, Pepto has such a strong angle right here, both giving SNHU point control as well as creating a crossfire on that bridge area. makes it really, really scary to push that, because you know if you take enough poke, you might just get your head blown off. And then that's fight over.
Yeah, you have to be so careful when Sojourn can delete you from across the map here. But right now, Junkrat trying to take side space. You can see them always lurking on the other side, but not ready for Sojourn with the rail. And now, Osiren doing the same exact thing, but this time, One Trick is able to dive in and find that pick instead of the trade the other way. Noob existing on the point, putting a lot of pressure on, forcing them back with Osiren now with a flank, not going to be able to hit the Conk Mine. One Trick smells blood, but is going to back up for now. 40%, because of how that fight started, 40% already on the board after only one fight, and no one on Clark Red has ults.
That's so much percentage for such a little resources for Clark Red. Meanwhile, SNHU Sapphire's economy looking crisp.
Look how much they know that Osiren is right there. They're spamming in that corner. He tries to tire, gets caught immediately. Terra Surge could be the flip here, and it does get one. As they try to run away, they're chasing them in here. So much your boop actually messing up the slide. Perfect from One Trick. Does the Javelin connect? Even if it did, they wouldn't be able to follow up because of the slow and Icy Cold coming out now. This is actually a fairly even fight, but very little heals for him. Only Lucio. Can they wear them down on the way in? He is just so low. If they can buy time until Beat comes up, he might be able to get saved. He just can't peek this angle. Javspin has to do it. It won't be able to even with that slow there. Beat does get it for now, and Overclock is their hope for turning this fight, but Pepto has to find these shots. Not going to find it during the slide. Lucio just walking onto point and taking some pipes. They want to spend more. They think this can get flipped, and we're broaching 90% right now. Junkrat 2 bars caught by Pepto. Who's going to go into contest? Ramatra will just narrowly make it in time, I believe, here, as Orisa makes it back into the fight, but no ults left. A ton up for Clark, as they do make it on. 2 players hiding inside. How long can they live? Kiriko doesn't notice the trap, walks in, she gets picked off. It's a 4 versus 4 now, with tanks trading on point, cooldowns being forced out, Tire sent out from spawn, not getting anywhere. Osiren hits a pipe on it. While it breaks that initial threshold here, with Noob coming to point, jabbing. The Ramatra Annihilate coming out. One Trick will not be able to live this, but they might be able to trade this damage if he gets Javelin back in time, trying to spin on him, keeping him out of heal LOS, but it's only Lucio heals, just can't do enough damage. Ramatra block absorbs so much, and SNHU Sapphire finally going to have to give up that space and come back in with the ults they've built up, but Clark Red, now they've spent everything.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's kind of funny. Somehow, SNHU ends up with a better economy after that fight, despite using literally everything they had to keep that fight winnable, and it got them the 99% and took out the resources. That Sojourn's already so low.
The Javelin was perfect. She's so stuck. She's going to get a pack, though. This might actually end up working in their favor as they move in. They're getting flanked by Ramatra. How long can One Trick delay? Not long enough. They need to find another pick. Biso needs to hit this headshot on him, but not going to be able to for the moment. They're stuck behind. They'll kite back. They're going to have some ults coming up. That's what they're going to have to rely on here. How aggressive are they going to get with Noob? Jav spinning in the door just to keep them from chasing. A lot of ults are coming up soon. And they can play off of this Terra Surge. You can already see them going in for it. Are they going to try to force out Suzu? It looks like they're going to get it right away. And Lucio dies to the Terra Surge because of that early force. Overclock being used, but Noob can just stay on the point regardless during this. Evo not able to find anybody, and Noob still in armor. Plus Pepto hits a shot on a mid-slide. This is going to be the flip, and it's all on Mr. Jellybean to delay this, but the Conk Mine has sent him away, and Pepto has charged up another Overclock in this time. It's a shooting gallery, and Pepto will not miss. Overtime ticking down. SNHU Sapphire walk away with stage number 1 of map number 1.
Yep, that last fight looked like a little bit of a Koba X. I think we might have swapped games. That was a name trainer.
For Pepto at the end there, at least. Once that Overclock got popped, I mean, it was just hunting season.
Yeah, literally. And I don't know, I applaud Clark Red for being able to take that back despite the amount of ults that were used that fight. That's not an easy fight to take when you're trading so much and the ult economy is not in your favor. But it just didn't end up mattering.
I'm trying to figure out who we think the Symmetras are going to switch to, right? Is this going to be... They're not going to stick Junkrat. I don't think Junk is terrible on this map, but I would not play him over Tracer here, right? I'm almost positive Osiren is going to stick Sim. And actually, Clark Red is too. Both teams playing Symmetra. Who takes more space early? Early beam charging onto that Ramatra. Osiren gets caught in the slow. Suzu coming out just a little bit late. They need to find a trade right away, but Icy Cold actually going a little deep for that kill, but Clark Red coming out on top here. Very well played by them, and Osiren, I think, just getting a little bit greedy on that Symmetra and immediately switching to that Tracer. That's what I expected, but now they have to find a way to break this bunker.
Yeah, Symmetra's always pretty tough to play into on this point, just because it's such a lockdown point, so much room for those turrets to go. You have to deal with those, and to deal with those, you have to turn your attention to them. And when you do that, you expose yourself to further damage from the other parts of the team. And with our Ramatra up, that's feeding ult charge, and then Annihilate. I mean, we've seen that it's a good ult.
Oh yeah, it can win you a fight if you play around it well enough. What we need to see from SNHU is taking fights from alternate angles, right? You cannot just force main into a Symmetra. The turrets will be put in ways to stop you. So that's why they're playing on this right side, trying to find a way in. Great stun on the Ramatra, but everyone else is too far back to get enough damage in here. So cooldowns being traded, maybe not the way they want, but now they're flooding into main. They were not ready for them to pivot here. They thought they were all going to be on one side, so now they break into point. They're getting this flip. Kiriko is dead, and SNHU do retake here. The question is, will Clark is not going to swap. Chromodon just respawn. They're going to keep that kinetic barrier and use that to find a way in. But do you try to split them down the middle, or do you think you put like a flat barrier forward and use that just to take a certain amount of space?
I mean, it's really tough. You're not playing the Symmetra, so you're not going to get absolutely destroyed by the turrets going in. I think you split the point.
Okay.
Just because I don't... Does that block off Kiriko ult?
I believe so. I think it will, but it's not what's being used right now. Is they're going, and Suzu used early, actually. This could be solid. It slams down. Demo, always the one to get picked off by that, as they try to annihilate in the back lane, but so deep, no one can chase and follow up in time. But a counter overclock now from Evo does find one, but just suppressed and caught out for the rest of it, unable to finish off anything else. And SNHU quickly turned that fight. Icy Cold, I think, just dropped a brick on the gas pedal and was not able to make it all the way.
Yeah, sometimes the brakes just don't work. I like it, but sometimes it's just not the play. Sometimes WM1ing works, sometimes not so much. That was one of those not so much times. Both teams mirroring these support ults here. Osiren just going to get a lot of damage. Try and build that pulse bomb in this fight, get a little bit of a nice little pick in the backline, but one trick just dies.
Yeah, he was caught on the wall there, so good shot from Evo to follow up on that. How is this fight going to look as Demo trying to chase Pepto, taking a lot, has to kite back, but there's no way Ramatra doesn't end up getting this kill. This is awesome from Clark Red. The speed of which they came in off of one trick, just getting caught on a little bit of geometry, getting that free pick. They probably didn't even need to spend the rush. I feel like that might have hurt their economy a little bit, because SNHU are coming in with rush and beat, whereas Clark Red might have their beat countered by rush if enough shots are hit. But they're making their move now, slowly taking this right side. They need to control some side space.
I'd expect to see this rush come out really, really soon here, just to break through this point. Right there, a lot of players already low for Clark Red. Ooh. I think I just saw Ramatra get hit with a tactical nuke.
That was some of the fastest damage per second I have seen on a player. I have never seen a tank health bar go away that fast without Zenyatta in the game.
Yeah, I looked away for 2 frames, and the Ramatra was just a non-presence. And that's all you need to just take that. I think that beat was just enough to really secure it. Maybe not the most necessary thing in the world, but Ramatra does not have his ult coming in. I can hear the focus call from, I believe it's Osiren, looking to focus this Ramatra first and not allow him to get value out of his ult when it builds up in the mid-fight.
And they're still coming in, though, with that kinetic barrier, photon barrier, so tough for them to play around. And now SNHU can't really die here. Pepto used overclock. All they have is Surge to play around. If Pepto dies, I feel like that might be it. The 15 health, the Symmetra dives and finds that final kill. 5% left. Osiren likely going to have to be the one to touch, already in to get that overtime, but picked off immediately and Annihilate going into the backline. Clark Red are almost 100. Yeah, they're going to finish this point and take us to Village. A controversial one in my eyes. I think that is it is 3 doors. It is 3 tiny doors if you lose the first fight.
I mean, the first door is pretty good. Like down main?
Yeah, but you're on low ground.
I mean, yeah, but then you just rotate through to take your natural cover on point. It's at least a lot safer than trying to shove yourself through high ground doors.
You're not wrong. It really depends on how they are playing it. I mean, both of the ways that you can go have their advantages and disadvantages. I just think that the team that wins the first fight here has a massive advantage. I think defending this point is definitely heavily favored.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't contest you with that, but I don't think it's a free win.
I want to see if Osiren decides to stick Symmetra here in the first fight again, if he feels like being there is important enough. And no, probably going to go Tracer, yep, and play in main. But an entirely different strat. They are pulling out the old Overwatch 1 Turtle. They're going to TP straight to point, and they're going to have to just play down here and poke. We'll see if they try to force some resources. Great Javelin actually early in Console Noob. Forced to use some cooldowns. Caught out here, but standing in the neutral zone a little bit too long as he tries to disengage. No cooldowns and burnt down, I think. Just not sure where to go from that. Probably had to go around the side to force them to kite in a direction, but just not going to find it as Suzu gets forced out from this pressure, and now SNHU in a very difficult spot. As again, this is one of the harder points to retake.
Yeah, Clark made a very nice decision to just do the old strat, as you said, to just get to point as fast as possible and set up, because then it puts SNHU in the compromising position of having to fight on Clark's terms.
Yeah, in Clark's terms, they just want a turtle there with their Symmetra and force you to do those fights here. They need to be playing around instead, but so much damage coming in close onto them early as Osiren just tries to get cap time. This Symmetra actually has some very good mouse 2 aim. I think that's something that you really need to get good at now with Symmetra because they actually matter. They're actually good. Symmetra's right click was so bad in Overwatch 1.
Yeah, I remember back in my day it went through shields.
I liked that. But then that also came with Shield Generator, which was the worst. That was one of the most annoying abilities of all time, so I'm glad it went that way. But see, they're coming through top because they feel like they won't be contesting them because they have this sim, but now forced back into the slow. There's the Annihilate. Pepto just deleted, and Osiren going for some cap time here. Under them, might actually be able to, if he gets this kill, he might be able to get it, but there's no way with the damage that he'd already taken. I like this play from Clark Red, the fact that they're already sitting up top and waiting for them, right, instead of just turtling on point, because they're not running that sim. They can't really sneak past them. No, Suzu could signal a push here.
Yeah, Clark is doing a really great job of just playing in the right spot at the right time, and now they have the ults to show for it.
Looks like they might be trying to go for pull here. They went for pull pulse, not going to be able to find it there because of slide being up, but they took beat entirely off of Lucio. Who are they going to be looking for here? Suzu now forced, but they just keep getting Pepto picked off. Running Sojourn in this close range map when you have a disadvantage pushing is getting them so caught out. Here comes the rush though, another ultimate out for them and countered from the other team. Who are they going to be focusing? What a shot from Evo taking down that Tracer. No damage players left. It's all going to be on the tanks and the supports to find these kills, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. It's just one trick in Console Noob now with beat on them. Coming back in, no ults. Pepto will be coming back shortly. Here comes the overclock from him, but everyone's on point. They're all hiding from him, and they have a photon barrier to play around, and he's getting slowed by turrets. This is just a disaster for them now, and Clark Red are 100% going to walk away with map 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's just really good play from Clark.
Yep.
And then using the ults that they had backed up there to turn the fight after the initial flip from SNHU.
Mm-hmm.
Very well done. Very well done from both teams there. I think some star moments from players on both sides there. That highlight intro looks a little silly.
I'm trying to think of if Pepto could have played anything else here, right? Obviously, we know he's capable of it, but like they were clearly just targeting him first in every single fight. We might have wanted to see like a later lurk rotation from him, like playing in that middle door so that when they try to rush in, they go, oh, it's just Kiriko and Lucio. We can't kill anyone. And then Pepto comes in and punishes them from an off angle, right? I feel like that might have had to be the direction that they took it. But now SNHU are going to have a chance to pick a hybrid map. And we talked about it before, but I don't want to give away map picks just wildly on the stream. I actually am not positive what they're going to pick because I think we just reworked some of our payload choices.
I think,
so we'll see what they decide to lean towards.
I think you should feed some misinformation. Can we get some?
I think they're going to pick Gibraltar.
You know, I think that's a really good shout. Snoop loves Gibraltar.
It's not in the map pool, and it's not a hybrid map.
Yeah, yes it is, and yes it is.
Oh, that's the misinformation I'm spreading. I'm just lying. Production says they're going to PL Badwater. I don't know if that's the case. We'll see. Is it Badwater Pro? No? Just default Badwater? That is the worst third point in any payload map in any game. It's one of the worst.
That's a Team Fortress 2.
It is a Team Fortress 2 map, yes.
I'm a zoomer. I don't play games that don't get
You don't play good.
Anymore.
I'm a zoomer. I don't play good games.
All right.
I'm Matthew Hamill.
No, all right. And enjoy your game that hasn't gotten an update in.
You played a game that didn't get an update for 3 years.
That's not true. We got funny little
We still get hats in TF2. TF2 is still updated.
We got funny little event screens.
Just still events in TF2. Either way, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the game and what changes could happen, right? I think, again, Pepto is clearly the target, right? They're clearly looking to go past everyone and go for Pepto. I think we saw maybe a little bit of nerves from Console Noob, the way that he was using his abilities. It is obviously you want to use your abilities in a way that will kind of chain one into the other. You want to be using the shorter cooldowns, then the longer cooldowns to get the shorter cooldown again and maximize time. We saw sometimes where Jab Spin was being used in unison with Fortify,
right.
And that was sort of getting forced out. It wasn't happening earlier, but in that game, as the pressure went on, you could definitely see that happening more and more. Especially, it's hard to play Orisa into Symmetra.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those beams are really, really punishing because you have nothing to counter them other than pressing Fortify and standing there and trying to get the kill before
trying to hit the jab on a character whose hitbox is this big.
Yeah, you ever try to hit a bullseye on a target the size of your average twig? That's what Console Noob had to do to get the pressure off.
Yeah, I mean Kiriko playing that into Kiriko, trying to hit any cooldown against a team that's running Kiriko and Symmetra just makes me sad. Because they are very hard to hit, and I think it was a good way that Clark Red played it. But we'll see how things change up moving into map number 2. I am kind of curious to see what they do pick. No news as of yet. I think maybe waiting for a ban possibly because the winner of the last map has to ban before the loser picks. Is there even a ban available? I say to production. No.
Well,
no. They said 1 sec 3 minutes ago.
That is what?
That is a long time.
180.
They're you know what they're doing? They're watching our Overwatch 1 VODs right now to figure out Blizzard World banned. They're just banning the maps that got played last set. They're just looking at the banning the maps from last set.
Guys! I have a feed into the Clark Red headquarters. Never mind. We're going into Midtown. I have a feed into the SNHU esports headquarters. I got all the info. I got the download coming in from all sides. That's why this cup has SNHU in there. This one is Clark Red.
That I don't think that's allowed. But what is allowed is the pick of Midtown because it was not banned. So Midtown, a pick from SNHU. I know this is a map that Pepto likes. I know that he just likes playing Sojourn on this map because he likes playing Sojourn everywhere. But I know that I'm getting my head shaken.
The amount of times in scrims where I've heard Pepto say, "Yo, I think we should play Midtown,"
and no one else likes it. No one else wants to. No one else wants to. It's just him.
That is after we played Midtown the night before, and the night before that, and the night before that.
He just wants to be able to play on this map. It's just a map that he likes, right? No one else wants to. But
do you want?
I am not in. I'm not in. So what?
Do you want to make the joke or should I?
I'm not gonna. Oh no, not that the map is mid. I like this map, but I don't play.
Oh, well, you spoiled the joke.
That the map is mid?
Yeah, that's why
that's been a joke since before the game came out.
Yeah, but it's really funny.
You decide.
Don't you love beating dead horses on cast?
No.
No?
No.
We have differing opinions on this matter.
We do, and there's a reason I cast more. Oh, you cast more than me. Oh, I can't even say that. I let you cast. I'm the one who chooses who's up here anyway, which is why I'm allowed to make it a complete disaster when I am up here.
Don't lord that over me.
I think both teams can just stick with their comps. I think both teams will just stick with their comps.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they have any reason to change, right? I don't know what Chromadon's going to play, though. That's the big difference, right? Because you don't play Sim here.
Right.
Unless, I don't think that you do, but I don't believe that you play Sim here. You could see Tracer. You could see, Reaper is playable. You could see Genji's being played in playing in the Contenders level tournament that was played on this patch with Ramatra Rush, kind of the comp that they had here. But we will find that out in 6 seconds. And it is Clark Red on the right. Clark Red is the one that is attacking. SNHU Sapphire on the left on defense, and it is Tracer. Okay, that's about what I would expect.
Yeah,
and Console Noob actually on Ramatra. This will be interesting to see. I don't think he's pulled it out so far in this session.
We have a nice little Ramatra duel coming in. I can hear the two annihilates popping, followed by the intense sounds of right clicks coming out from both Ramatra players as the healers frantically try to both keep him alive and live themselves. I can't wait for this 3-second ultimate to be fight deciding for 20 seconds.
At least it's guaranteed to only be 20 seconds next patch.
You're so right.
Which is which is the patch that the season's going to be played on, by the way. All of this time between seasons that has been on Season 2 doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? Teams, I think, need to be prepared for what is coming, but we don't even know what's coming. I think practicing Ramatra, though, I think Clark Red have a really good grasp on what is up next. I think Ramatra is definitely the next big thing for them. But this is actually I like this push here. They're trying to isolate Kiriko, but I mean, obviously, she's the last person that you will catch unless you find a rail like that. She just dilly-dallied in the open, got caught. Ramatra now getting entirely overwhelmed with no big heals for it. They do manage to get one kill traded here, but Pepto wants to chase this, wants to establish some Sojourn supremacy here on this. We'll see who can contest this point, though. They had, I think, Tracer go all the way back around. If they give up a tick here, that would be disastrous, but Weaver is able to make it back in time, keep it at 0, and get a staggered kill.
Oh, that's horrific. That's 10 seconds until that Tracer is back, and I mean, you can begin the push without her in theory, but it's always better to push as 5.
Yeah, I mean, she can come in late, at least.
Yeah, luckily it's not someone like Ramatra who has to make the long trek back from spawn, has to come in a cooldown to walk faster. They're already coming back through. That shield's very, very well placed.
Yeah, it was a good shield. They're going to rotate and try to meet them, though, here. If they can heal up constantly before they re-peak, they're going into Firehouse Nemesis. I like the use of Nemesis to put pressure on them. Sojourn now no slide, caught inside so low, but Constantnoob dies trying to go for that kill. This is a massive slow on them, though, forcing them in as Biso finds a pick with Lucio. 2 bars in the corner, getting healed back up. Pepto just trying to fill up his rail, and now has Overclock. Will he have the peel to survive against this dive from 3 players? Sojourn knocked to half, no one able to make it over in time with Osiren walking on this. Sojourn not able to hit the last shot, though. It's only him up with 86%. He's not going to be able to make it out, TPing away somehow, actually. Getting by, and now Constantnoob will be able to make it here, finding 2. Looking to clean up the rest. No reason for this Ramatra to block, unless he just wants to take a little longer here. Suzu does come out. Kiriko comes out to save him as well. A lot of percent here bought from Clark Red. But SNHU turn it. Honestly, I think Osiren living that TP was the crux of that.
Yeah, I don't know how that
They
happened.
had to look both ways.
Yeah, splits their focus, which is really pivotal. And then Constantnoob is able to come in sort of out of nowhere, hit the RKO, get 2 picks early, and turn that fight. We're going to see a bit of a I don't know if clown fiesta is the word, but it's the only phrase coming to mind.
A GOATS level fight with 10 ults. They're going to have to come out quick, too, especially because of that first pick here. We'll see what comes out. It's immediately a Kitsune Rush and an Annihilation. Beat countered it. There is so much happening right now all at once. Can Constantnoob live? Not through the sticky. They just use their resources better. There's still 3 in the pocket of SNHU, and with the percentage that Clark Red got at the start, there's going to be no chance to go for a retake. That last tick is going to go. I think maybe they had to go right away with something, but they spent 2. Clark Red spent 5. They're going to be able to get the point off that. Sorry, 4. Sorry, 4.
The Lucio pick was probably the best pick that they could have gotten. That meant that Constantnoob couldn't play as aggressive and just had to play really passive in that Annihilation. And Osiren just kills 2 in the middle of my sentence.
Yeah, he walks into the side. He waits for them to get aggressive. Good bait from Constantnoob, kind of pulling them in there, able to help them find that kill. Slow on the right, so Tracer cannot escape that way, as he does manage to find the kill with the staff. Again, a huge stagger on Chromodon, not syncing with the team enough to know where he's going to be going. They're not pre-healing in that direction for him here. But I love this hold. I love this forward hold. They just need to be careful for what ultimates are coming up, right? Once Constantnoob picks up that Annihilate, he has to pull back, because they're going to have it in at the same time.
Absolutely. At this level, Annihilate charges so ridiculously fast, especially for the value that it gets.
Yeah, it does charge really fast for the value that it gets right now, but not if you get caught out like that. Overclock's traded, actually, on both sides. Pepto forces that Tracer to recall. Constantnoob got very aggressive, but got back out to that shield, right? The team was calling to him like, hey, you need to disengage, don't play that aggressive. He backs up, gets Suzu. Their Ramatra says, oh, their Ramatra's low. Now it's time for me to go. Tries to go. Gets picked off, and that's what flips that fight early.
And you say that the Ramatras will get their ult at the same time, but Constantnoob has it 30% earlier then Icy Cold, and this is so much damage. Walking forward, sending the beams out everywhere, getting a kill right before he dies, and that Sojourn is one, maybe killable. Oh, not quite. Osiren, though, will be able to get out.
The question is how... He does get out, right? They're going to back up because they're 3 versus 5 because they're going to spawn closer. If they get 4, do they just try to hold it with Rush?
Yeah, I think they're going to kite back.
They're all here.
Force an aggressive push, and then come out with this Kitsune Rush to try and turn the fight early before Clark Red can get some of those ults out.
Headshot on the Lucio actually here as well. They will poke for a little bit, but this does give them the ult. They don't necessarily know the ult charge. That's on the other side. They also force Nemesis here. This would be a great time. No Suzu, no Nemesis. Now is when they should kick that door open and make a move as they push on the right side. Rush used inside. They could just kite this for now. No need to use it to counter. Once they break that threshold, they can go. As they go to flip the map quickly over towards the cart, but Rom with Annihilate. Biso can't escape this. There's no healing. They went that way, but it was just too long. They had to re-engage into that Annihilation. For SNHU, though, they've been contesting this whole time, so not a lot of progress, and they escape, and they can refight with this Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, they didn't commit the ult, which is pivotal.
3 again.
Clark Red only has that beat, and the overclock coming up is going to come up in the mid fight. You're going to look to try and pick out that Sojourn early so that ult can't get value, because otherwise it's just the beat, and that Rush can absolutely counter that, but Pepto dies really early.
Yeah, the team that pulled the trigger first was Clark Red going in with the beat. If they rushed immediately, they might be able to make it work, but just not able to. They still have to play around the ults that they can get here, right? There's 2 ults so close to coming in, plus the beat coming back. Overclock, though, used from Clark Red. Evo is hitting everything, catching them on the way in. Pepto trying to kite him, but everyone falls. Osiren picks up 2. It's a 1 versus 3. Pepto with 1 bar of HP remaining. At best, he's going to get 1. They brought the clock down real far, though. 130. That's the max you would get for that cap anyway. The Clark Red have to push third, which is one of the harder ones, I'd say, in hybrid right now.
Yeah, and Pepto has the funny overclock button, and we've seen how lethal he can be with it when given the space to use it properly. Pepto has been a menace on the Sojourn since this game has come out. It's just kind of a show to watch him press the button.
We all knew he'd be playing it here as Console Noob splits himself past that shield. No one makes that call, or they just feel like they have to be aggressive. They think that might be the answer right now, but not able to find it. The overclock in the back. Pepto just wants to get 1 trade, but he's just under so much pressure. 6 HP will not be able to get it, and Evo cleans up another fight. I think SNHU is trying to mirror what Clark did to them on the last map. They just want to walk at that Sojourn, and they're not able to do it.
Yeah, I don't think that's the play. You have the ults to commit. You have to use them more efficiently than just walk and hope.
They catch that Annihilate, though. That Ramatra going way too deep. It is a 1-for-1 trade, though. 3 versus 4 now with no tank available for them still. A lot of damage on this Tracer, who is getting pocketed. What ults are going to be coming up soon? Nothing that they can really use at a distance, but now the fight will be even, and spawns are in advantage of SNHU. We'll see how they can bust through with Osiren leading the charge on the right side on that Reaper, forcing them back. They get an early pick, courtesy of Biso's daggers. But now they're catching them on the left, try to do a quick rotation, but here comes the Annihilate from Console Noob now, running into the back, will find Sojourn and Kiriko in overtime. No heals for this Ramatra means he will just collapse. And SNHU managed to stabilize here, they managed to hold, but Clark Red, but there were times where I think if SNHU were more aggressive, they could have collapsed, but Clark, credit to them, they pulled the trigger first. They were so aggressive.
Yeah, they played the game as they wanted to. They did not let SNHU dictate the pace of the game for most of that map, and it led to Clark getting to third point when, there is another universe where they don't get nearly as far. They get held out on that Streets phase, or in some other weird little area. Maybe that first fight on third goes in SNHU's favor, and this looks a little different. But SNHU, to their credit, was able to turn that around at that last fight. That Annihilate with nothing to counter from Clark was so huge. They just had to. They knew they had to pull the trigger before the Lucio got the beat, and they did.
Mirror match. Oh, never mind. I thought it was going to be a full mirror match, but then Chromadon made that switch up, went to that Torbjorn, which I think is great on this first point, personally. I mean, I'm also a certified Torb enjoyer. I love Torbjorn, so seeing it here, not surprising. I think he's going to do the normal thing where you throw the turret in the second floor of Laundromat to shoot them as they go by that far side. And the poke is just great, too. Giving up Reaper for it, maybe tough, but Mercy Sojourn. Now, Demo making that switch, saying, all right, Evo is our win condition. He has been our win condition for most of this game. Let's put more resources into it. And then let Chromadon play a hero that doesn't need as much of a commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mercy Sojourn is just so strong. That damage boost does so much to give Sojourn even more value than she already gets on her own. It's absolutely ridiculous. Console Noob just bursting through, no fear in his eyes, causes the Suzu to come out, but
you have good vision if you can see his eyes from here. They are not considering that Ramatra shield, or someone is not communicating it. I feel like Biso maybe needs to say, hey, like Ram shield, like no LOS earlier, for them to be able to react to it, but it's just not happening immediately. But now they've seen the comp, they know what changes they might be able to make or have to make. We'll see if they do pivot anything. Not sure what would switch, other than maybe the direction that they try to approach, but they know they have to get into that Mercy Sojourn fast. If they don't get on her, she will just freefarm. The longer you let a Mercy pocketed DPS play, the worse it gets.
Icy Cold has been so effective at using these shields to split SNHU. Usually Console Noob, just because he's kind of heading up the front of the train, so to speak. But it's been really tough to push that, but Chromadon goes down really early. Trades for Osiren, though.
They have a 1-for-1 here as they get Kiriko very low. She is getting healed back up, though, but that means no pocket on that Sojourn wherever Evo might be. Here comes the speed. Sojourn isolated, does get a slide and manage to get pocketed, but Biso, what a dagger, actually, to find that kill. You can tell how much pressure they're putting on Pepto. They're trying to go in with the Valkyrie, but the Annihilate now coming back in, along with that 2 ults spent to hold with nothing even charged yet for SNHU, and 3 more potentially in the pocket shortly for Clark Red. They have a lot that they can work off of, but SNHU could come in 5 strong here.
Yeah, if nothing else, Clark doesn't have a beat to counter this Annihilate or this Rush. It's going to be really tough to take either of those without any major losses for Clark. If you're SNHU, that's what you're going to be looking for.
And here comes the walk. They shield off the left angle, so Sojourn can't really do much here. I want to see where they look. Osiren gets low so early, but Kiriko Rush will let him lifesteal a lot. He just needs a bit of a pocket as the Blossom coming in, but he's stuck in the lava. He gets taken out, and the ults from Clark are ringing true. They're the ones that are connected where they want. Overclock now coming in from Pepto plus beat. They need to be able to find something, but they Suzu the res, so Ramatra is back in. That was the most important kill. Pepto caught out here. Nemesis Ramatra walking right at him. They have a Suzu, but that might not be enough healing as Mercy just pulling out the Glock, doing the damage that she can. Pepto, yeah, no way he's going to live there. They want to get a trade kill here, but they just can't. The peel is immense.
That is a I'm panicking, press the button fight, I feel like, from SNHU.
Yeah.
A lot of ults came online, but none of them had any real thought behind them, and it led to them not getting much value. And Clark Red was able to just kite back, play it a little slow while those ults come out, and just take the fight when they want to.
Yeah, and they're going to retreat here after that initial pick. There's no reason to fight that. Pepto, tough on the strafing. It was a little bit predictable. Got caught by Jellybean, but they run away. They don't spend any more resources. But again, you can see how close Clark are to these ults, these super impactful ults. Valk Annihilate again can really swing a fight.
I mean, absolutely. That's an understatement in this game. With nothing right now to counter that Annihilation, that'll do so much damage, especially on those squishies. Makes it really, really difficult to even attempt to push. You see Console Noob already low, the Suzu comes out.
There's just not much they can do. There's not much they can do against Annihilate Valk, and they need to have one more fight here, but they literally might just not be able to. Osiren was on a very deep flank on Soldier, but it's just not going to be effective. Taylor, one trick, going to fall as well. They have one more. You might see Osiren go Tracer here just to get by, but very difficult for them here with no ults either. 3 as well coming in from Clark Red, and an early pick. Just randomly spammed both DPS going down, trying to touch. There were no swaps. This Torbjorn is just going to get 5 kills. It was a desperate push, but no swap means he could just rain down hell there, and Clark Red take the win, but there's still a map to go.
Yeah, I mean, and it's always deflating to play out this third map, but
yeah, we'd played a whole 2 seasons of that.
Yeah. God, do it. This game's already over. Do I have to play this map? Mm-hmm. But it is important for seeding in this upcoming regular season, where you use this last map to find out what division each team is going to be playing in.
Yeah, I mean, will map 3 of a set like this make a huge difference? Probably not. realistically.
Yeah.
But it is still good data for where to split teams in groups, because I believe they kind of try to skill balance the different groups as well as region balance them for better ping. So we'll see what NECC will do with that.
Yes, it's
But push, map 3.
we get to see push. Hopefully it's not a 3-minute, 15-second full cap. I'm requesting.
I think these teams are too competitive for that to happen. Although that full hold really made Clark seem very strong. That first map a lot closer than that Midtown.
Absolutely. They just knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They just knew what their win condition was, and they got it every time. And I think there were some moments where SNHU could have turned that, but just I don't know if it's nerves or people hating Midtown.
They were trying to make a pivot that they had not put as much time into, is what it looked like to me, because they were definitely playing a very aggressive traditional rush comp that they were then getting isolated or losing these long drawn-out fights because they maybe didn't know where their kill boxes, where they were supposed to be engaging on the map initially, right? That's kind of what it looked like to me. They were just going instead of necessarily saying, like, this is where we go and this is how we, who we are going on in this comp, right? They just wanted to kill the Sojourn by copying what Clark had done the map before.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement wholeheartedly, Chris.
Yeah. Thanks. I guess I know I'm supposed to be. I'm such a chair 2 at heart. We have the maps ready. We can look at what it is. I'm sorry. I just talk. I'm such a chair 2. I don't know why I'm doing play-by-play, but Esperanza, where we're going again. Now, here's the question. Here's the $1 million question, right?
$1 million question.
Did Clark Red watch the last game?
If they did, they got one fight's worth of information out of it.
That's true. They got one fight and 13 staggers worth of information out of it, to be fair. But how ready will they be if SNHU tries to do that push again? They could also just play standard, right? They could just play standard mid and go from there. That could be the way that they want to approach it, just in case they watched it. And obviously, as the season goes on, I'm sure that the surprise strategy will become something that they don't necessarily want to rely on, right? If that is something that they are using consistently, or just something that they have in their repertoire. They need to vary it up, especially for a team that streams all their games like we do.
Very, very rarely does a silly, goofy strat maintain itself.
You say that
after being streamed for so long.
You say that, but my heart is in Lijiang Control Center.
That's what I was talking about.
My silliest and goofiest strat I've ever made. But it never lost. It lost twice over an entire season. We would win that map and then lose the other two every time.
But I don't know. I guess if it works, it works. I mean, there's nothing else to be said about that. That is unfortunately a relic of a forgotten era.
The 6v6 era. I wonder. I think they'll ever just be like, we made a mistake. We're going back to 6v6. I hope they never do.
No.
Let me just say, I hope they never do. I think the game is so much better this way.
Yes, you're so right. And I'm not going to throw shade at any people who have differing opinion, because you know what?
Does anyone? There are people. Are there people here?
There are people.
Are there people here that do?
I certainly hope not.
Well, we'll figure out their opinions depending on how this game goes. Let's go into game number 3 here on Esperanza. 10 seconds before heroes are locked in. Wonder if teams are just gonna. Clark could just pull out something completely wacky because the game is technically over, but technically not. But they won't. Other than the Zenyatta, that's the only difference. And SNHU playing what they played last time, but with Ramatra instead of Orisa.
I will say, Zenyatta in 5v5. Oh boy, he hurts. He hurts real bad. That Discord orb is so strong with that one tank. You're gonna have less damage mitigation.
Yep.
And so that damage increase from that Discord orb is just punishing.
So maybe they didn't, because SNHU are doing that rollout again. As you can tell, they're going towards the Mega. Are they playing main? No, they're going this way. No one's looking this way. They're all coming behind them, but no. Actually, they played on the low ground. Looks like SNHU not necessarily ready for that. They just need to be careful. Osiren needs to come in basically now on the backside. So they might get locked out. They probably need to back up to their bridge and play that angle instead, and that's where they will end up. So Pepto rotating back. Now it's just a standard mid now after that initial loss of position, but Osiren caught so far in the back, finding Kiriko actually. If they move in quickly, they can take huge advantage of this, especially if they shoot Ramatra, who will not have the pocket, but once he gets that Nemesis out, they have to look somewhere else. They have to look past him. 2 bars left, just chipped away through it. Constanoob now needing a lot of care with this Reaper so aggressive, using Wraith just to reload. That's going to get him killed, and SNHU get control of the bot to start off this push map.
Yeah, that was a very well done kite from SNHU, getting out of that situation when they knew that it wasn't advantageous to stay there. One trick, getting like 3 headshots early in that fight. That one, if it hit, that was going in the clip reel. That was going in the montage.
If we get the boop follow up into more here, cooldowns used from Icy Cold pushing out. They're taking bridge. Pepto going to be forced away again. They see Sojourn's position and they say we have to isolate this and make the game as hard for him as possible. And it is working, at least at making SNHU uncomfortable, something that they'll have to probably think about quite a bit after this. But Suzu actually forced out. This might just be the go button for them. They might just walk in off this, especially because Constanoob is about to get annihilate here. Might just be the way that they walk. Pepto taking so much damage. Pressure on them. They pop beat. They're looking to walk out. Here comes the annihilate, but they're just shooting Ramatra. They have to look at squishies like this Kiriko, like this Reaper. Both going to fall eventually. Lucio, the next to go, and patient play, waiting. Pick your win condition. It's going to be annihilate. It's going to be beat. You wait till you get those ults charged and you make a move.
Yo, Krez, did you know that
yeah?
annihilate, it lasts 3 seconds?
That's crazy. It's actually 4 seconds.
All right. Well,
actually, it's 4 seconds long. But the second that you press the button, it says 3 because they don't show the decimals on the timer. Palsy, you play tank.
All right. I'm trying to be accommodating. That beat and annihilate comes out real fast, gets 2 really early kills. Although a lot committed
what a fight.
I think.
I mean, it's 3 ults for 2, right? It's 3 ults for 2. SNHU technically on the better end, but since Clark didn't spend a single ult on the previous fight, now Clark has the advantage. Osiren getting close to Pulse Bomb. Likely going to just throw it on Ramatra, honestly, if once they force Suzu, just because that's kind of one of the only ways you can kill him once he has his team's full support.
Yeah.
But Osiren is in the position, right? He is the player that matters here with where he's standing, and we'll see how they utilize that as they go. Looks like he's shifting now to go maybe contest the point, but shot early by the Reaper. Now having Pulse Bomb as they go to push up top. Early damage on Ramatra. Looks like Suzu did come out, but the rush coming out in turn. Constanoob is going to soak so much damage, but as soon as this Nemesis form runs out, he is going to get run all over. But there's so much peel from the team, and Constanoob now on a rotation. Health not good on Clark Red either. They have to disengage and re-heal. Great discipline from them. But Pepto hits the rail and they don't. Will they walk off of this? There's just so much pressure on Pepto. Constanoob not blocking, walking in too far with the damage into the backline, and now Clark Red suddenly, it flips. Now it's no tank 3 versus 3. They have to sync up, group up, and focus a single target, or Osiren will just have incredible tracking on the Lucio, trying to slip away, trying to make a hero play. And SNHU will maintain control, but spawns will be back about the same time. How aggressive will they be while Ramatra is out of the picture?
I think that the... well, first of all, they are going to probably try to be as aggressive as they can, get enough space to take a fight from a favorable position. But also, I do want to point out, getting Chromadon on that Reaper early was so huge. Out of that rush, Reaper does so much damage in rush. There's the Blossom coming out, not able to stop it. 3 big kills.
Yeah, so I mean, that was just really good play from Clark. They said, hey, we're going to Blossom this fight. And then they did. And walked in, perfectly timed Suzu. There's no answer other than your own Suzu. Osiren, though, I think did the right play after that. I mean, obviously, incredibly well executed by Clark Red. They got the flip. Osiren then backcaps the bot so that they have to take it further. And now, only now is the bot touching the barricade, and SNHU are already ready to come back in. Yep. Early damage though on one trick, though.
Dueling annihilates here. A lot of damage. Real early, Constanoob gets the first strike.
And the rush is actually what's really turning it. He just has to block. He has to get healed, but he doesn't get healed in time. Still, they do get the Ramatra. It's a trade. It's a beat 2 versus 3 with beat helping them out. How long can they last through this? And are they going to pop overclock on the other side? The dive coming in now catches Demo. It's only Evo, obviously. Now he's not going to pop overclock as these staggered kills allow SNHU to reestablish themselves. They are guaranteed butt scratch here.
Absolutely, and that's so huge.
The checkpoint.
It's butt scratch. It's butt scratch. They call it butt scratch in Overwatch League. It's butt scratch. Regardless, yeah, those spawns are so huge for SNHU. It's going to allow them to take fights a little bit earlier and sort of stem the bleeding if they lose a fight here much faster than they would have with old spots.
Huge damage from Biso from up top here. Now they drop in. Constantine trying to jump, but getting Ramatra pulled back down. And this could be a great angle for him now. Overclock up top. Constantine just pummeling them in Nemesis form, finding two right away. We'll start cleaning up the last. You can see Icy Cold just wants to get a trade, but still, advantage now pressed from SNHU. One kill traded. One trick getting a little bit too deep onto that Sojourn, who has 2 bars still remaining. But SNHU will be able to push their lead.
Yeah, and this distance, this late distance when Clark doesn't even have butt scratch, is every meter feels so punishing.
Yep.
Because you're already so behind, you're going to get that pause if you get butt scratch. And then, you know, SNHU's going to have better spawns, no matter what you do for the next 2-3 fights.
The adaptation here actually from SNHU is good. You can see them slowing the pace when Ramatra has shield up. They don't want to be walking into that shield where Constantly would just get split and punished here. But now look at this flip. Osiren coming in on the backside, looking to pincer them as Overclock is popped. Everyone is so low, but no one is dead. Pepto might actually be completely pinned, but the dive from Osiren does not work out in their favor. They try to pop Annihilate to turn this fight. Not going to matter here, though, as Constantly goes down. That's a huge impactful ultimate wasted there because they just could not heal up in time. Kiriko, when everyone is taking damage, really struggles to get everyone top back off.
Yeah, you only really have single target healing outside of the Suzu, and for the Suzu, they have to be all packed together like sardines in a can. You're just going to be looking for the rush here from Biso, but that ult from Icy Cold is going to be so huge, but so much damage taken early.
Did you see how they positioned around that? They knew that they figured that the rush or something was going to come out up top, so they all just sat at different points on the track and burnt them Clark with immaculate positioning to punish them there. Yeah. Right now, what is going on up here? The demo riding on Pepto's head and getting picked off eventually, but now they're caught in the back line, but they could probably just stay up top. They have a really interesting pincer that they could play off of, especially during the wait time that Butt Scratch will give, but they're just going to rotate under. This is the only answer that they had, and they're doing it right. Are they going to see them coming? They will. Biso, though, caught in a little bit, taking about half a health bar of damage, has to use the TP to get out, plus that chip damage. But now it's gone to an even trade again, exactly how the map would be expected to be going at this point. 100% rail does not connect. Where will the engagement start? It's going to be the Overclock. Icy Cold already knocked low. Forced Nemesis, forced Suzu, forced Rush, but the Blossom coming in from Clark Red finds one. It's an even trade. They can't hit the pummels onto Pepto here, and he hits the headshot rail point blank, almost getting Kiriko, but Constantly will finish the job.
Pepto hits the real quick. 1-2 peekaboo, I see you, you're dead. That's so huge, taking down Icy Cold at the end of that fight. If Icy Cold lives there, that fight probably doesn't go the way that it did.
Yeah.
And now Clark has lost those forward spawns, at least for the time being. Evo's going to have the Overclock coming in here. I'm expecting they got really early.
They got all of their forwards, though. So Clark Red is in an excellent position to take this. You can already tell, just 2 slows on top of each other. Biso just too close. They just have to die bot. This was a perfectly executed fight from Clark Red off of 2 cooldowns.
Absolutely.
Not an ultimate.
Yeah. That's so huge. Especially we're in the last minute now, so every ultimate that you can get matters so much. Osiren able to kill the Kiriko very, very late. Do you think they're going to want to take the 4v4 there? They might
I think they're going to get forwards and then just probably back off. Maybe they just leave Reaper on for now because he can TP away. Or maybe they'll just commit. They don't think SNHU is going to pincer them, so they're just walking. Look at them setting up. Reaper in the tunnels. Sojourn up top, spamming down on them. The contest is here, and Icy Cold is going to back off. They know they don't have the healing quite yet until Kiriko does get here. Now that their whole team has regained this space that they want to hold, they're willing to go, but Constanoob has recharged this Annihilate. They might want to go. Here comes the Annihilate pop from him, but already taking down Pepto the Beat just a little bit too late. They have to find a trade in response, and it is going to be on Evo with that Pulse Bomb. No ultimate to keep them alive, and this is still going. They Ajax. The Beat demo dies while trying to cast, and that will be the final fight of it. Constanoob is in their forwards, pummeling him, and one map of the 3. The players are hyped. They lost. By the way, I just want to remind everybody. But it shows the adaptation over the set, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Game 1, they play Orisa into Symmetra. They struggle. Game 2, they try to mirror the ROM rush. They figure out the issues with the comp. Game 3, maybe Clark Red take it less seriously, but it didn't look like that to me.
4 seconds. 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Oh, 4 seconds.
That's a long 4 seconds. And time.
Yeah, I think, there was some time
They
dilation.
counted the meters? Production, you don't have to do that. That's so extra.
Ooh.
Overwatch League just put to 1-0.
That's why we have some of the best production around. Our graphics team, our production team, doesn't get enough shoutouts, I think, on cast. And I think that we
Shouts to the production team and the graphics team.
Yeah.
Actually, just production team. Shane made that. The map screen. That's all Shane Sholey.
Shoutouts to Shane Sholey,
who is actually at home. I'm covering for him. He's working on homework right now. He's got to catch up.
That college life, it hits hard.
I know you are in the weeds. I think as well.
Don't even get me started. Game majors. Make sure you're talking to your local game major. Make sure they're okay.
Hey, are you okay? Okay. Sometimes that's the best you can get, and probably, I mean, maybe if we win, it's feeling a little better. But still, Clark Red, what a showing by them. I really think, even from when I remember playing against them, that was almost a year ago now. That was a different look than what I'd seen. I think that was a very good showing from them, and I'm excited to hopefully play against them again. I think we're close enough where we'd be in the same division.
It's very fun because unlike Overwatch 1, the game has changed. There have been updates to the game with new characters. There will be a new map in about a week.
Yeah, which won't be played until like week 3. Just to clarify,
correct. But
actually, it won't be played at all until playoffs.
Oh, right, because they go off
Season 2 combat pool.
Yes, but regardless, it's very interesting to see how teams are going to adapt throughout the season with a sort of drip feed of content coming out. I believe there will be a new. Will there be a new hero?
Not
during the season.
No. Next season there will be, but I don't think next season is coming out until this. Oh, it might come out during playoffs. But they wouldn't be allowed. It won't be allowed, so it's fine. It's fine. It won't be allowed. And you have a long season of Season 3 to look forward to down the line. We'll have all of those games obviously broadcast here on SNHU Esports on Twitch and on our B stream, twitch.tv/SNHU Esports B. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to support us in any of our platforms, they are all below the stream next to the bio. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Discord, all with the same exact tag. So you can follow us there to catch all of our post-match updates, behind the scenes, anything that we are putting out, you will find it there. Tomorrow, Rocket League. Tomorrow is Rocket League here, and also I believe we're going to have some League of Legends on our B stream. ECC is starting up tomorrow for League of Legends, which is the feeder for CLOL down the line, so those games will be important to watch if you are a League of Legends fan.
Woo. I'm not a League of Legends fan myself.
I don't know why I looked at you when I said that, because I know you're not.
I'm like, what do you want me to say here?
Like, whoa!
But
just a moment of excitement, so I could feedback.
It's always fun to support the other teams in this program.
Yes.
This program has given me and so many players so many wonderful, wonderful opportunities. So I would implore you to
Didn't know you were an English major. Thought you were a game dev major.
I am. But I would implore you to check us out on the other social media channels as Kresnik suggested.
Yeah, definitely do. Tune in there if you want any match updates, player updates, anything like that. Follow us on Twitch for any time we go live here and on the B stream. And on behalf of myself, Matthew Palsy Hamill, thank you for casting with me today.
Anytime.
And for the production team, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.